Start with the Math 7 and Accelerated Math 7. We have your presenters, Ms. Clarencia Bonner, Ms. Rachel Caslas, Janika Eads, and Ms. Alice Nelson. And we're all Math 7 teachers at our respective schools. And we wanted to discuss with you or talk with you about some things your students will encounter during the first semester or first quarter of the school year. We are really excited for them to come back and learn and to get all involved with their math skills and math know-how. These are some things their student can be able to, or should be able to expect, building a collaboration mindset using the habits of success, to take the iReady diagnostic, which is a helpful tool for your teachers to plan lessons and to help your students increase in their skills, and the topics that we'll cover during the first quarter. All right, with the habits of success, during the first few days of school, your students will be grouped in various pairings with their classmates to foster relationships between each other, to know the skills about effective time management, making sure they know how to get their work done in a timely manner, being able to improve on their reading and writing skills, that is expressing their understanding when they're working with any math project, improving their mathematical skills, and planning and setting goals for themselves along the way. And when we're talking about the math diagnostic, your teacher should be taking the time to discuss the skills with your students, what things they need to work on, what math skills they need to improve on, or what they do well in. And these are called data chats. They should be working well with them so that they can plan and set goals in the future of what I need to improve on or what I need to work on in the future. And to be able to access any resources that they would need. So the first few days of school, they should be working in these groups, discussing, creating I think it's a shield or a campaign slogan, that what they're going to work on and improve on during that time or during the school year. The iReady diagnostic, and I believe Language Arts will do it also as well, is a diagnostic that is adapted to your student as they're taking the test. Each item is individualized, so if your student does well, it increases in rigor. If your student does poorly, it kind of goes down a little bit. But at the end of that diagnostic, it shows them their grade level equivalent, and your teacher or your student's teacher should be able to go through that data and create little small groups to help them improve on things that they need to improve on, or to increase their rigor of their knowledge if they needed to do so. And your teachers will be using that data to create small groups and even with some of the data that we get is more individualized, so we can see what specific objectives your child may need to work on. And I believe there's a parent printout that a parent can get as well that shows what specific objectives that your child will need to improve upon or they do really great at. I know this chart is a little bit wonky, but this is a progression of learning for your student. So you're in 6th grade, and then when they hit 7th grade, they have 2 options or course paths. You have regular Math 7, which is at the top, and Accelerated Math 7. So with Accelerated Math 7, these are the beginning course, so when they complete the 2 courses, Accelerated Math 7 and Accelerated Math 8, they have a possible option. I wish I had a pointer kind of go up. They have a possible option to skip over the Algebra 1 with probability. But that's if they successfully complete those 2 courses within the 2 years. So technically they're crunching 3 years of math into 2 years. So they'll be covering their Math 7 and half of Math 8. And then in 8th grade, they'll be doing the other half of Math 8 and pretty much all of Algebra 1. So if they successfully complete those 2 courses, they have that possibility to jump over or to replace that course with that Algebra 1 with probability. But everyone will progress into geometry when they hit that 9th grade.
And how you can get placed in accelerated is based on your iReady scores and recommendations of a sixth grade math teacher or a seventh grade math teacher for eighth grade. So we encourage them to do the best that they can on those iReady scores, and all of that is based on a recommendation of their previous grade level teacher or their current grade level teacher.
Correct.
They just can't say, oh, I want to be in advanced math, or a parent can't say, well, my child was good in math K through fifth grade, they are advanced. It's all based on those already scored.
And based on that, and we're going to show you what objectives that are covered. In accelerated, there are a lot of objectives that are covered. And so because of that word accelerated, it is a fast-paced course. So in that progression, if you look up top, you see seventh grade can go seventh grade, then to eighth grade, and then to geometry. That is the only path that they're regular math 7. But when they get to accelerated, if they get to accelerated and they find out this is not the path for me, they can go down to eighth grade regular math and still get into that regular progression when they get to high school. But if they complete both courses, Math 7 or the accelerated Math 7 and accelerated Math 8, again, they can still get to geometry in ninth grade and have that possibility to go over. But then they're going to have to take a math class every year in high school. So it'll be one math class. So again, that's their option. So if they do skip over, they have these options right here in their senior year of high school. Okay? I know it's kind of fuzzy, but that is their progression of learning. Okay? Any questions on that part? Okay? Alrighty. All right, so the objectives that are covered in Math 7 is primarily with your number systems. So that first 4 weeks of school, they'll be learning adding and subtracting rational numbers. And Ms. Nelson is showing you some of the tools that we use in class. One is an anchor chart that shows them about the number line system that they can use daily in class. The other one is a proficiency scale, what we kind of use to help us to guide their learning for ACAP. So our main goal is to get them to level 3s and 4s, because that shows proficiency and above a proficiency. If your child is scoring like at a 2, that means they're movable. There's some skills that they still need to work on when they get there. But if you look at the chart on the proficiency scales, you will see what at each level of understanding your child is at. If they're at level 2, you'll see what things they know at that point. If you see them at a level 3, again, you'll see all things they should know at that level 3 and higher. So in first quarter, again, we're going to do adding and subtracting with rational numbers. That includes your fractions, which is one thing they do not like to do at all. That's including your decimals, your positive and negative numbers. So all of that and being able to use those reasonably. So anything that's dealing with real life issues like your bank account, digging pools, or something that's real life that deals with adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, decimals, integers. That is one thing that you can do at home. Like, hey, can you show me if my account is overdrawn by $15.13, how much money do I need to put in my account so I can come even? Those are the little things that we're teaching your child in class, and that's some things you can help at home as well. We're also learning about multiplying and dividing rational numbers. So that's learning how to multiply a negative number times a negative number, a positive times a positive, and so on like that. So that's for your regular math students for all of quarter 1. That's what they should be covering. And there are various techniques that we use: number lines, integer shapes, cards. We're going to show in a few minutes. With accelerated Math 7, though, you have more objectives that are going to be covered. So we have the operations with number systems, so that's pretty much all of regular Math 7. Then we have the real number system that includes your irrational numbers, your real numbers, being able to simplify square roots, cube roots. We'll also be getting to simplifying linear expressions and solving multi-step equations. So in accelerated Math 7, we have all of quarter one for Math 7, but then including those other objectives as well. So that class is a fast-paced class that is designed for those students who desire that stronger connection in math or that drive to do those math skills at a faster pace. Yes, ma'am. Like being able to, like if I have like balance, well, back in the day, balance in the checkbook or being able to swap a card. If my account is overdrawn a certain amount of money, or if I get paid, how much, over time, how much I'm going to input or put into my account. If I overdraw, how do I get my account to be back to zero? How much money? It's just anything that's real life that deals with positive and negative numbers. So dealing with a bank account is a great tool that will help students learn how to understand the concepts of adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers.
Thank you for that question.
Oh, that's all good? Okay. All right, now this is a possible lesson or activity that your child could see. And then I'm gonna turn it over to Ms. Cazalas.
All right, welcome to math class. I am Miss Cazalas, and my students normally call me Miss Kaz until alas they get it. So Cazalas. I am excited that our parents are here with us today because you're going to get an opportunity to do one of the lessons that your student might actually do in the classroom this first quarter. And as Miss Eads mentioned, it's very possible that this will show up in different ways in the classrooms because the teacher has their different styles. So you're going to see a little bit of the way that I teach and get ready to do it with me. You've got some chart paper on your tables. You've got some markers there. If you are a language arts teacher or other teacher in the classroom, feel free to dive in. In fact, I expect you to. So jump into a table there. We've got 4 of them set up. So jump in and be ready to learn all about integers today. So the first thing that I want you to take a peek at here is these 2 cards that I have on the board. These 2 cards that you see equal -3. So I'm giving you the answer. How cool is that? These 2 cards equal -3. I want you to take 60 seconds and write anything you can think of on your chart paper as to how I came up with that. 60 seconds, go. All right, I'm going to give you just a little bit more information to go on. So you have some thoughts so far. I've heard some talking. I've heard some discussion. All right, take a moment now. Freeze, freeze, freeze. All right, take a moment with the information you just learned from those 2 cards. And now, look to the board. You have 2 cards below that now equal -15. See if that gives you more information. Take a moment to discuss and write. These 2 cards equal -15. All right, no questions yet. Discuss and write. 60 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Clap once if you can hear me. Oh, just like 7th graders. All right, wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. All right, eyeballs back up this way. I am so glad that you wrote down some of the things that you noticed about these cards. Now I'm going to ask, you got a lot of little chit-chat time there, so now I want you to focus on raising that hand if you want to share one of the things that you noticed. These were the 2 sets of cards we looked at. So now I'm going to ask that save your discussion at your tables and give me a nice big hand in the air if you're willing to share something that you learned about these sets of cards.
I think I like this table bank.
All right, go for it right there. What's one thing you learned?
The red cards are negative numbers.
All right, so one thing we noticed is that the red cards are negative numbers. In other words, numbers that are less than 0. All right, what's something else that we learned? Excellent. I love the use. That's it. Good. Excellent use of recognizing that we can change their places even though we don't change their sign. All right, so we do have these two cards that you were able to discuss and use to determine that if they were the same color or the same signs, we should be able to add and keep them. So what do we know about the 6 and the 9 that are red cards? What did we determine about red? It was negative. So if that's a -6 and a -9, what would we do with those two cards? All right, same color, same sign. We're going to add them and keep that sign. What about our 4 and our 2 on the bottom? Are they the same sign? Yes. How do we know that? They're both black cards, okay? They're the same color, in this case, the same sign. Positive or negative? Positive. Positive. All right, so what would our answer be for our 4 and our 2? 6. All right, now take a look at our other side. What do you notice about the two sets of cards on the other side? Are they the same color or different colors? Different colors, which means they are different signs. So if I have a 10 that's black and a 6 that is red, am I going to get a positive or a negative answer? Who thinks they can tell me why it's positive? All right, why is it positive?
Because the positive number is larger.
Yes, all right, notice the 10 is the larger number. It's further from 0. So it is the larger value.
That vocabulary word that means I'm greater, that greater is value.
Absolute. Absolute. Absolute value. I did. All right, tell your neighbor what you would get from the 4 and the 10. The 4 and the 10 on the bottom. I hear some people asking for the lifeline, calling my lifeline. Good. I heard some good discussion and some correct answers. The 4 is positive. Bringing it back up here, the 10 is negative. And so we have a positive 4 and a negative 10. Think about it. If you have $4 in your pocket and you try and spend 10, you don't have enough. I need $6 more. That's a -6. And we're going to use a lot of that real world terminology with money to try and bring that into our integers. All right, so in front of you, you now see 2 more scenarios. These are probably the 2 that get the most incorrect answers across the board. So think before you say an answer. Take a moment to look on your own. What would happen if I have same signs that are red, in other words, 2 negatives? Think about it. First thing I want to know, is my answer going to be positive or negative if I have a -7 and a -7? What do y'all think? Positive or negative? Negative, because we said same signs, add and keep. So that's going to be a -14. All right, now look at the other scenario. If I have different signs, in other words, different colors, go back to thinking about that money in your pocket. If you've got $7 in your pocket, that black card is $7. I own $7. And then I turn around and spend $7. Now how much money do I have in my pocket? Nada. I got nothing. All right, so that ends up being a 0 right there. So if they are different colors of the same number, then I have zeroed it out, okay? They are the same distance from 0, and so I end up with 0 money. So let's do a quick review of what you've learned so far. You now know that red is what? Negative. Black is? Positive. If they are same signs, you're going to? Add and keep. If they are different signs, you're going to? Subtract and keep the sign of the larger. Good. Now, we are getting ready to go into our integer battle. So in front of you on your tables, there should be a couple sets of cards. If there's not enough at your table, there's more on the other one. You need to pair up with someone else and divide the cards equally between the two of you. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. Pair up and divide the cards equally between the two of you. Don't look at them. Don't look at them. Upside down in your hand. All right, raise your hand if you found your partner. All right, give me a thumbs down if you didn't get a partner yet. All right, so here we go. Now that you have your cards in your hand, you're going to hold them face down in your hand. This is just practice right now, okay? We're not trying to beat anybody yet. All right, take that card on top, both of you, you and your partner, and put it face up in the middle where you can both see it. Now, the first thing I want you and your partner to decide, are you adding or subtracting based off of what you see in front of you? Okay, so if you have a red and a black, what are you doing? Subtracting. Good. If you have red and red, what are you doing? Adding. Good. What if you have black and black? Adding. Good, because if it's the same color, you're going to add. If they are different colors, you're going to subtract. Take a moment to decide on your answer with your pair buddy. All right, now since that was practice, you can ask one of the math helpers around the tables if you're unsure if your answer was right. Take your card and put it back on the bottom of your stack. All right, this time a little bit more intense. You want to try and say the correct answer first. If you're unsure, if your answer is correct, pop that hand in the air and one of our math helpers will come help you determine who said the correct answer. On your mark, get set, flip. All right, now, shh. Whoever said the correct answer gets both cards to place on the bottom of their stack. All right, and flip.
We said it at the same time.
Then you each take your own card if you said it at the same time. And hold your card in the air if you can hear me. Good. Freeze. At this time, I need you to hand all of your integer cards to one of your pair partners. So make sure one person has all the cards back in their hand. All right, the real battle is getting ready to begin. Are we feeling a little bit more confident about getting answers when we see those different cards? Some, maybe a little bit. All right, so in just a moment, you're going to hear some little music playing in the background, and every few moments, you're going to hear me say, rotate. In other words, you're not going to get to stay with the same person you've grown comfortable with, because you need to try this out with different people and see if you can beat or learn from another person that you've been paired up with. All right, so please begin with the person you're with and go ahead and reshuffle and divvy out those cards, and your goal is to see if you can beat them out of all the cards in your hands in this next 60 seconds that I'm about to give you. So take a moment to divvy your cards first, you and the partner you're comfortable with.